The ultrasound room smelled of antiseptic and old paper, the kind of sterile chill that seeped into your bones no matter how many layers you wore. I lay on the cracked vinyl table, shirt rucked up to my ribs, the gel already turning sticky cold against my skin. The fluorescent light buzzed overhead like a trapped insect. I'd been coming to this same clinic in the narrow lane behind Liberty Market for every appointment because it was quiet, because the receptionist never asked too many questions, because Dr. Hassan had kind eyes and never rushed me out the door. 21 weeks. I could feel the baby moving now. Small, secret kicks like fingers tapping on glass. I told Ahmed during our last video call. He'd pressed his forehead to the webcam lens and cried, actual tears rolling down the screen in Lahore, while sandstorms whipped across whatever base he was stationed at. "Our little soldier," he'd said, voice thick. "I'll be home before you know it." 8 months deployed. 8 months of counting days on the calendar above the kitchen sink, crossing them off in red ink like blood. Dr. Hassan had always been gentle with the probe, sliding it across my abdomen in slow, practiced arcs. Today, his hand hesitated. The screen flickered once, then steadied. I watched his face in profile, sharp jaw, the faint scar above his left eyebrow from some childhood accident Ahmed used to tease him about. Brothers. They looked so alike in certain lights that sometimes, when Ahmed was away, I'd catch myself staring too long at Hassan's profile and then look away, ashamed. He inhaled sharply. I laughed, the sound too loud in the small room. "What? Is it twins? I've been joking about that for weeks. Ahmed would lose his mind, in a good way, I mean." No smile, no gentle correction. He simply turned the monitor toward me with both hands, as though the machine might shatter if he moved too quickly. Grainy black and white, the familiar curve of spine, the delicate fan of ribs, the rapid flutter that was a heart beating at 148 beats per minute. I had memorized that number like a prayer. And then, beside it, another sac, smaller, collapsed, its edges blurred and dark like something that had once held life and then let it go. I felt the room tilt. "That's..." My voice sounded far away. "That's not right. The dates." 21 weeks and 4 days, he said quietly, give or take. I stared at the second sack again. The measurement line blinked across it in cold white digits. Conception window stamped beside it in neat font, approximately 14-16 weeks earlier than the living baby. My mind did the subtraction automatically, the way it always did when panic arrived. Ahmed had left for the deployment on March 12th. I counted backward. 14 weeks before today landed somewhere in early July. Ahmed had already been gone 4 months by then. The gel was drying now, pulling my skin tight. I couldn't move. Dr. Hassan's voice came again, softer. "Amina." I looked up. His eyes were wet, not crying, not yet, but shining like glass about to crack. He switched the machine off. The screen went black. The sudden silence was worse than the buzzing light. "You need to leave him. Tonight, before he rotates back." I laughed again, short, ugly. "What? Leave him? Ahmed? Because of..." I gestured at the dark screen. "Because of a mistake in dates? Machines glitch. You told me that yourself last month when the heartbeat was hard to find." "This isn't a glitch." He reached out, then stopped himself before his fingers touched mine. His hand hovered there, trembling. "I've run it 3 times. I measured the crown rump length twice. I cross-checked with the CRL from your 12-week scan. The math doesn't lie." "Then the math is wrong." "Amina." He said my name the way he sometimes did when we were alone in this room, low, careful, like he was afraid the walls might overhear. "Ahmed has been gone since March. You told me, Surf. 8 months. You cried about it right here on this table when the nausea wouldn't stop and you were scared you'd lose this one too." I had. I remembered the exact afternoon, rain hammering the tin roof, me curled on my side while he held my hand and told me breathing exercises. I remembered how his thumb had stroked the inside of my wrist, slow circles, until the panic ebbed. I remembered thinking just for a heartbeat that it felt safe in a way Ahmed's touch hadn't in years. My mouth tasted like metal. Who? The word came out cracked. If not Ahmed, then who? He looked at me for a long time, long enough that I felt the answer rising in my chest before he spoke it. Me, he whispered. The room became very small. I sat up too fast. The paper sheet tore under me. No, I didn't plan it. His voice broke on the last word. That night in July, when the power went out for 3 days and Ahmed asked me to stay at the house because the generator was broken and he didn't want me alone, you were 29 weeks along with the miscarriage scare. You couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. We talked until 4 in the morning on the balcony. About everything. About nothing. About how tired we both were of pretending everything was fine. I remembered that night. The city dark, the air thick with jasmine and diesel. The way the candlelight had moved across his face. The way he looked at me, not like a brother-in-law, not like a doctor, but like a man who had been carrying something too heavy for too long. We didn't, I started. We did. He closed his eyes. Once, only once. You cried afterwards. I held you until you stopped shaking. Then I left before dawn. We never spoke of it again. I told myself it was grief, loneliness, a mistake that would stay buried. My mouth tasted like metal. You let me believe? I let you believe what Ahmed needed you to believe, because the alternative, he opened his eyes. They were red-rimmed now. The alternative is that he comes home in 6 weeks, sees a baby that looks nothing like him, does the math the way I just did, and he didn't finish. He didn't have to. Ahmed's temper had always been a quiet thing, slow to rise, impossible to predict. The night before he deployed, he'd put his fist through the kitchen cabinet because I'd asked him again why he volunteered for another tour. The wood had splintered like bone. He'd looked at the damage, then at me, and said very softly, "Don't ever make me choose between you and duty." I believed him. Now the choice was mine. I slid off the table. My legs felt boneless. Hassan caught my elbow before I could fall. His touch burned. "Don't," I said, but I didn't pull away. "I'm not asking you to run to me. I'm asking you to run from him. Take the baby, our baby, and go somewhere he can't find you. Karachi, Multan, abroad if you can manage it. I'll give you everything I have, every rupee. I'll sell the clinic if I have to." "You'll lose everything." "I already have." He laughed, a terrible sound. The moment I saw that second sack on the screen, I knew I'd lost everything I was trying to protect. You, the baby, my brother, myself. I looked at the black screen again. Imagined the little heartbeat still flickering behind the darkness, alive, innocent, already marked for violence simply by existing. "How long?" My voice sounded like someone else's. 6 weeks until his rotation ends, maybe less if they pull him early. He's been texting me every day, asking about you, about the baby, telling me to take care of his family. Hassan's mouth twisted. His family. I pressed my palm to my stomach. Another small kick answered right under my hand. I closed my eyes. "I need to think, then think fast. And when you decide, whatever you decide, don't tell me where you're going. Don't leave a message. Don't let me know. Because if he asks me," his voice fractured, "I won't be able to lie to him. Not to his face." I stared at him. The man who had delivered bad news and good news for years. The man who had stitched my finger when I sliced it chopping onions. The man who had just begged me to destroy his brother's life to save mine. The man who is the father of my child. I reached out, slowly, carefully, and touched the scar above his eyebrow. He flinched like I burned him. "I'm not promising anything. I know. But if I leave," I continued, "it won't be because you told me to. It'll be because I looked at that screen and realized I can't let my child grow up in a house where love is measured in silences and broken cabinets." He nodded again, slower this time. I pulled my shirt down. The gel had dried into flakes on my skin. I wiped at them absently.
"Walk me to the door," I said. He did. We didn't speak again until we reached the reception desk. The old woman behind the counter looked up, smiled her gap-toothed smile. "Everything okay, Betta?" I forced a smile. "Just fine, Auntie. Baby strong." She beamed. Outside, the lane was loud. Rickshaws honking, a street vendor calling about fresh sugarcane juice, children chasing a deflated plastic ball. Normal sounds. Ordinary afternoon. Hassan stopped at the threshold. "Amina." "Don't," I said again. "Not here." He swallowed. "If you ever need me." "I know." I stepped into the sunlight. It hurt my eyes. I didn't look back. But as I walked toward the main road, one hand on my belly, the other clenched around my phone, I felt the weight of two futures pressing against my ribs. One, where I stayed, and Ahmed came home.